Well, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Now today, on the table in front of us, we have something I haven't had on the table for a little while. This is a new Twosun, and this is the TS125. It is a night-morning design, and I love this little knife. I mean, it's not tiny, but it's not big either. It's just a really useful and interesting design from Twosun, which I think is very cool. I ordered this before COVID, and it took 3 months, 2.5 months, to get to my door. I don't blame anyone for that. All the shipping out of China was screwed up. But, you know, that was a little bit of a drag. But the knife that showed up was what we're going to call typical Twosun. It was well-made. It was flawless. I've had 2 out of probably 35 or 40 Twosun knives show up with some sort of flaw. They're not always 100% perfect, but their success rate, at least for me, is very, very good. This is no exception to that rule. So what do you get in the 125? Well, you get TC4 Titanium scales. You get a almost full, you get a 3/4 length titanium backspacer with a lanyard hole. You get a very nice, interesting design pocket clip that has plenty of spring and good room for pants. And you get a 14C 28N blade that is just very, very sharp. This thing is so good. Now, I ordered this knife because the design interested me. It is not sort of normal. This is not a tactical knife. To me, this is almost a folding kitchen utility knife. Particularly because of all that beautiful belly on the blade, and the 14C 28N blade steel is really good for wet environments and stuff dealing with, you know, if you're going to deal with sugars or corrosive materials. That 14C 28N is a really good steel for that. Now, I say that this is not, you know, a tactical knife, you know, whatever, and it's obviously not, but I got to tell you, there is more than enough tip there. If you needed to, you could give somebody a right proper poking. But that's really not what it's built for. It is a comfortable cutter, and again, because of the design, a ton of the blade makes it down to the mat long before your knuckles. So you can use this thing particularly well for food prep, although I have used it to cut all the general things that I cut, rope, cord, cardboard, and it has done all of that remarkably well. It has a couple of really cool design features. One of those things, and I hope this shows up on camera, is the milling on the titanium. It's got these beautiful lines milled into it. The pocket clip is milled as well, right, this way. So there's a little bit of contrast to the texture. When you close the knife, you see that it actually has external stop pins built onto the blade that seat back here under the scales. This is a really, really interesting knife. Well, Night Morning tends to do that. Night Morning designs interesting knives. Now, do I wish it was just a little bigger? Well, I do, yeah. But for most people, I think this thing is a right-sized EDC knife with a ton of functionality built right into it. Let's go ahead and get some measurements out of the way. You get 1, 2, 3.5 inches of cutting on 3 3/4 inches of 14C 28N. The grip area is 1, 2, 3 3/4 inches, but there is nothing to stop you from choking up. I don't recommend it because there's nothing to stop you from choking up. If you bump this, you're going to slip forward onto the blade. But if you needed to, you could come forward onto this flat spot if you needed to do some fine work. The shape of the blade, by the way, allows for that. You can really come forward on this tip and do really fine dicing, which I have done with onions, by the way. The overall knife, you know, it occurs to me that sometimes I forget to do that overall dimension. Yeah. The overall knife is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just under 8 inches long, which is a really nice EDC size. The closed profile is really narrow. This thing sits in the pocket very, very well, and the action is superb on these thumb studs. Let's do some size comparisons, as you know we tend to do. Here is the Mini Presidio 2 from Benchmade, and the full-size Presidio 2 from Benchmade. And as you can see, let's line everything up on this line right here. As you can see, it's a little bit longer than the Presidio Mini 2, the Presidio 2 Mini, but you get a ton more cutting area. This is a nice long blade. And of course, it is much, much smaller than the full-size Presidio 2. I love this knife, by the way. I don't know if I'm sure I've told you guys this. I love this knife. This is one of my new favorite users. This thing is great. Let's go ahead and weigh it, just because that's what we do here on the channel. And because it seems like the kind of, hello, there we go. It seems like the kind of information you guys might want. All right, we're zeroed out. We are at 3.6 ounces for 3.5 inches of blade, which is not bad considering it's titanium. If we open it up, if we open it up and look inside, which you guys aren't going to be able to see at all because it is relatively narrow, both sides are milled quite a bit on the inside for weight reduction. When Twosun wants to do something, they tend to do it right. Let's go ahead and break out the super budget calipers. And let's get a measurement on the blade stock. We are at 3.69 millimeters. The handle at its thickest point are 13.45 millimeters, which is 0.53 inches, so just over a half inch, but not much. I think this is an amazing little knife. I really do. Of course, I'm kind of a Twosun fan. I've had a lot of them. The interesting thing about that is that I tend to buy them, use them for a while, and then sell them, because Twosun produces knives faster than anyone I have ever seen. So in order to keep up, I tend to sell off my Twosuns so I can buy new ones. I think if I'd have kept every Twosun I've ever had, I probably would have filled, easily would have filled, 1.5 of those 30-spot knife rolls that I have. They just make a ton of knives. And as long as they keep making them in this level of quality, with this level of interest, I'll probably keep picking them up. Now, there was a time when they were exclusively D2 and TC4 Titanium. A little bit of G10 mixed in there. Now they're making knives in S90V and M390 and carbon fiber, and it's endless. Okay? That's cool. The S90V and M390 knives are going for 100, 150, 200 bucks or more now, which means they are competing directly with the large traditional sort of well-known manufacturers. But if you're willing to step back away from the super steel blades, willing to step back into their D2 or their 14C28N or even 12C27 that they use, you can get amazing knives for right around 50 or 60 bucks. And that is totally where the value is. It's completely worth it. Now, you guys know I have a fairly extensive collection. I have a ton of knives. Most of it's fairly high-end, except for my sort of hard worker stuff. I probably won't keep and carry this, but I would easily give it to someone who needed a good pocket knife, because that's just what this is. This is a really good pocket knife from Twosun. I guess we're going to end there. You know, I don't have that much more to add about this. If you're looking, and again, their primary retail place is on eBay, although I think White Mountain Knives does carry them sometimes. If you're looking for an excellent pocket knife in good materials and you don't mind waiting a couple of weeks for it to show up, look up DWin99 or straight up Twosun on eBay, and you will find, I think right now they have 200 knives on their eBay store. It's just endless. Don't be afraid to go poke around and take a look. You will get a fairly nice knife out of the deal if you go ahead and pull the trigger. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. This has been the TS125. If you have any questions about this Twosun or any Twosuns or anything at all, don't be afraid to ask down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'd love to have you here on a regular basis, and we'll see you next time.